Hello ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. There's a new movie coming out, a new Star Wars movie, Rogue One. And of course with the new movie coming out, especially Star Wars, Metal Earth has released 4 kits to mark the occasion. Today I'm building one, the TIE Striker, which looks like a TIE fighter, but it's a little bit different, and I guess with a Striker it probably has a slightly different purpose. And I'm starting with this one because this one makes me the most nervous because of that center ball. And I know I say that a lot, but if you've built the other TIE fighters, you know what a pain it is. So, I'm going to get this one out of the way right off the bat. Let's tear this open and see what's inside. The TIE Striker. Let's open this up. Another version of TIE. And inside we have 2 metal sheets. And there are definitely instructions. It looks like just one sheet. So let's open this up. Slide that out of the way. And it doesn't look like it's a very long instruction sheet. It's just one piece of paper, both sides. And on the front, on page 1, we have the usual Star Wars Metal Earth 3D metal model kit, the line drawing, little sort of QR code here. We have the bit about insertion holes, insertion tabs, fold lines, some information if you're doing this for the first time. Needle nose pliers are helpful for assembly. They're more than helpful. They're almost necessary. You've got what I always call the legend. This has been on the instructions since I started doing them. The blue circle, if you see that in the instructions, in the assembly, it means to fold the tab over 90 degrees. If you see the green triangle, it means to twist the tab 90 degrees to secure it. And this here tells you to pull as you screw the tab, and it makes it more secure. And then we have the legend, as they have it listed, which is somewhat new. If you see an E, it's pointing at the engraved side of the part. NE points at the non-engraved side of the part. And this finger is some sort of a tension point, and it varies from thing to thing. It could be referring to make sure this part goes in this direction, or this tab goes in this hole, or sometimes it's actually accompanied by instructions, but it's trying to get you to pay attention to something in particular. And then at the bottom we have the layout of the 2 metal sheets. And that's not it. And that's not it. Okay, here we go. I've got it backwards. There we are. And this gives you the part numbers and where to find them in the sheets. And you'll notice there are some that are shaded in, items that are the same color or the same part number. They're interchangeable. They just mark one like 18 is marked. This one isn't. But it makes it easy for you to find the other duplicate of that part, which is nice. I'm glad that they started doing that. On page 2, you have the start of the assembly flowchart with part 1 and 2 and how they come together, and very vaguely how they fold, adding in part 3, adding part 4, so on and so forth. So you just follow the arrows and the sub-assemblies, putting things together. At the bottom of the page, we flip over to page 3 and continue following the arrows and part numbers. And then to page 4, following along. And when you get down to the bottom, you have your completed model. Let's talk tools. I have a pretty standard set of tools that I use in most every build. I have needle nose pliers, I have flat nose pliers, I have flush clippers. These are a must for me. They clip parts off the sheets quickly and cleanly. I have a set of precision tweezers, one with a very pointed end, one with the pointed end ground down slightly, and flat set with a sort of curved tip, useful for twisting tabs in slightly curved areas. I also have a pretty standard set of tweezers with a flat angled end. These come in one of the Iconics kits, and I use them a lot. We've gone over the instructions, got the metal sheets, got some tools to put things together. Let's get started. There are a lot of parts inside of other parts, and several of the connecting pieces are close to other tabs or corners. Be careful. it's a trap. The tabs on part 3 and 4 that connect to 2 are supposed to be bent over, but they would only fall off if I did it right now. I twisted the tabs slightly until I connected more of the parts for support, then I'll go back and fold over those tabs later. Now that the assembly is together and on the main body, I'm going back and bending over those tabs that I originally twisted. I first tried to bend part 7 and curve it first, then fold the sides down, but that did not go well. I needed to fold the curved side down and then carefully work the flat part into a curve with tweezers. Not an easy thing to do. I had a really difficult time shaping part 8. The first bend did not go right and I had a tough time recovering and shaping it properly. I held the center of part 10 in place while I bent the sides over to keep from warping the part. I ended up bending the sides here at 90 degrees, which was too far. They angle out just a bit. The twisted tabs got in the way. There were a lot of parts inside the fins or wings. I had to take time to clean it out, being careful not to clip any tabs. Some of the little connecting pieces were really close to tabs. I dislike tabs that have no fold lines. They are tougher to fold tight enough to fit in the slots. This video has been edited down. I've not shown all the different attempts, adjustments, or retries of this build. I also clip out parts where I am studying directions, searching for and clipping parts, and sometimes repetitive steps. It may make this kit look like it comes together easier than it did, but there are a lot of bending and adjusting of parts to make things fit. Work slowly, be patient, and take your time. Despite my best efforts, sometimes I have to straighten out and try again with these tabs that do not have fold lines. To bend these two tabs over, I pinch them together. The TIE Striker, another new one for the Star Wars universe and obviously new Metal Earth model. I decided to start with this one because I was concerned about the center body. The previous TIE Fighter's center round cockpit area is a real pain in the butt, and I was worried that this would be too, so I thought I'd get it out of the way first. It wasn't quite as challenging, but it wasn't without its challenges, especially this little centerpiece that goes over the back, trying to get that into the two fins and angled in, and it just was worse than it looked like on video. And getting it rounded back into shape once you get the two ends connected. And these two little parts back here behind where the wings, they didn't want to fit at first, so it had its own challenges. But once you got the body formed, and once I got it mostly shaped, there's only 4 tabs holding the front and back on, so they weren't too bad. It did not take as long, nor was that part as difficult as previous TIE fighters. Now this build took me about 2 hours, so not terribly long, but it took some time. Once I got past the center body, the wings, if you will, came together fairly straightforward and simply, but they did take their own time because the tabs that don't have fold lines like what you have with the wings in here, those are irritating to me because they don't always want to fold properly, and you have to really fight and be careful to try and bend them as close to wherever part they're connected as you can, or they won't line up properly with the slots. And sometimes I had to go back and try once or twice more to get them to fold and everything to fit together. But it still sped up once that point. At least it felt like it did. It felt like it got easier and more relaxing. Now I've got to find room for this on my big shelf of, well, not so big shelf of Star Wars Metal Earth models. I need more room. It has friends to sit there and look good with. If you have any questions or comments, as always, feel free to leave them down below. Thank you for watching, and keep on keeping on.